I don't watch a lot of television. I don't really follow any shows, but I have heard a lot of good things about the Daredevil series. I'm sure most of you watching this are aware of the fact that Daredevil is known for its fight choreography. The fight scenes are pretty awesome. Gritty, artistic, admittedly very Hollywood-esque at times, but awesome nonetheless. This video, however, is not a fight scene analysis, but rather a stealth scene analysis. Something I've never done before, and I owe a massive thanks to Axel61 for bringing this scene from the show to my attention. Stealth tactics portrayed in film are often a bit flashy, and stealth done right in film is rare. So when I found this, I was pleasantly surprised. It's only a little over a minute in length, but I'll take it. Like I said, stealth scenes like this are a bit of a rarity. Now before we begin, I must stress that I am absolutely not a professional in the stealth arts. As I have stated many times in the past, I do not have a military background, and have had zero tactical stealth training in my lifetime. However, I have done a fair amount of stealth training on my own accord. Those of you who follow my channel know this to be a fact, but I am merely a stealth enthusiast, and that is the only perspective that I can offer. So, having said all of that, let's jump right into it.
And where is Vanessa?
Immediately, the scene starts off with the most fundamental technique in the book, crouching. He stays low to the ground using the cars as cover. Then he moves right into another fundamental technique by flattening against this pillar. One thing that comes to mind with this, personally I would probably face the wall so that I could slightly peer around the edge of the pillar, doing my best to remain unseen. Trying to peer around a wall with your back against the wall pulls you away from the wall, which increases your chances of detection. But of course, Daredevil is blind, and thus his strong suit here is his sense of hearing, as we can clearly see him listening closely to which way the guard decides to go. So it makes sense that he has his back against the wall instead of facing it due to his unique condition. Next, he makes a move for the agent. Notice how he is stepping lightly, but also fairly quick. This is good because you would never want to delay when trying to remove a sentry. They could turn around at any second. You want to be fast and precise, which is so much easier said than done, of course. Also, I want to note that they are in a parking garage, which means that they would be walking on either concrete or pavement. Those of you who train these skills know that this kind of terrain is very easy to move across quietly. So in my opinion, it's really not that far-fetched that he would be able to get this close to the agent unheard. So he quickly but quietly approaches the agent to induce what looks to me like a brachial strike, which, according to various sources, is a legit technique, capable of knocking someone out cold for at least a little while, and when they come to, they're very disoriented. I was gratified to see this technique used. This tells me that the choreographers really knew what they were doing here. However, the agent was merely stunned by the hit and didn't go down, so he follows up with a chokehold. Now we can see that from the time the choke is in place to the point where the guard loses consciousness is about 3 seconds. And 3 seconds is pretty quick. To my understanding, it usually takes about 5 to 10 seconds to black out from a chokehold, but still, they at least showed somewhat of a struggle being made here. Then we see him lower the agent quietly, as not to alert the others nearby with the thump of his incapacitated body. Then there is more crouched movement, wall flattening, and listening. Listening is so important when going stealth, because a lot of the time you have to remain motionless, and you might not be able to see what's going on beyond your cover. Next, we see him stalk this dude briefly, and I can't tell if he does something to draw the agent's attention or if he's just reacting to the agent turning because the agent thought he might have seen or heard something. but it almost looks like he might have done something to direct his attention to the left, so he could then move to cover. So then he rolls and posts up on one hand while flattening his body against this car. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of rolling. I'm not saying that it's not useful. It can be useful to obtain cover quickly, but the circumstances have to be right. Unnecessary rolling can create noise, and it disorients you for a split second. In a situation where you are being hunted by FBI agents with guns, there is absolutely no room for error. So if he had slightly miscalculated and accidentally kicked the car, it would have been game over right there. But this roll is very clean, and it's obvious that his intention was to gain cover quickly. Then he immediately props himself up onto one hand while simultaneously flattening himself against the side of the car. I'm assuming he does this just in case the other agents decide to look under the car from the other side, which is very cool. Pretty quick thinking and a good display of body control. So notice in this shot the emphasis of him flattening against the car. I like this a lot because the angle really showcases the purpose of the wall flatten technique. Had he not been completely flat up against the side of the car, it would have seemed like the agent would be able to see him in his peripherals, but he stays flat and motionless and thereby avoids detection. Then he makes a quick grab, again with the light footwork, and throws this agent into a wall which stuns him. Making a loud thump like that is sure to draw attention. Daredevil anticipates this and quickly repositions behind a pillar, choking the agent at the same time to put him to sleep, but he is still putting up a fight, so he knocks him out with a punch to finish the job. I really like the fact that he anticipated the attracting noise when he threw the agent into the wall. Again, in my opinion, excellent attention to detail by the choreographers. I also appreciate the fact that he's looking for an escape instead of just trying to take down more agents. Evasion is his number one priority, and fighting is portrayed as a last resort, at least up until this point where he gets caught.
Stop, FBI!
Listen, I'm not here.
He tangles with this guy for a bit, which stirs up the hornet's nest, alerting the other agents. He manages to dodge some bullets with a few breakdancing moves, and after that he was seemingly in the clear to go stealth again, but then decides to come back for more and fight 3 armed agents with his bare hands. And so that's pretty much where my analysis ends. It would have been cool to see him exploit the environment a bit more, maybe tossing a bottle or pop can lying around as a distraction, or perhaps utilizing some of these pipes overhead. I could see him running up a wall or using a car to jump up and grab a hold of one of those. Although they are pretty low, so it would definitely have to be dark, but there does appear to be quite a few shadowy spots along the ceiling. Not to mention these fluorescent lights can be easily disabled sometimes. And I know that's getting more into the realm of fantasy stunts, but I'm partial to Splinter Cell, so naturally when I saw those pipes my imagination ran off with it. Overall, some pretty good stuff. I was really surprised at how cool this scene was. Some really good fundamental techniques and skills displayed in this brief sequence. Honestly, I went into it expecting it to be way over the top, but a lot of what he's doing seems fairly plausible. I mean, evading a team of FBI agents in a parking garage is next to impossible in reality. And he does get caught, which is a good showcase of realism before the punching and bullet dodging starts. Again, I didn't expect this scene to be this awesome. The techniques, the environment, the music, it all comes together really well, even if it only lasts about a minute. This show definitely lives up to the hype, and I'm glad to have found this hidden gem.